Hi, we're Blenderstyle. We don't remember days, we remember moments. And in this moment, Kardashev, Liminal Rite. This album was released in 2022. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Kardashev,
Yes, yes.
are you guys familiar?
I remember seeing Mark Garrett's stuff on YouTube, I think.
Okay.
He does like vocal stuff, like
Yes.
death metal vocals. Because
Yeah.
he's learned it
He's learnt
on the death metal stuff.
on the growly
on
growls.
the metal vocals. So he knows his shit on vocals. That's all I know. I've never actually... I knew he was from Kardashev.
Well, you're
and-
one ahead of me.
And I was... so when you picked this, I was kind of excited.
So, I am familiar because I watched his channel on YouTube, Cardavox Academy.
That's what it's called, yes.
He does the vocal analysis, and it turned me on to another channel for the charismatic voice. And I never really watched the whole videos. I just kind of skipped through parts on
I think
both
that's
of
where
them.
I'm at with it too, yeah.
But every time I was watching his videos on the Cardavox Academy, I would be like, man, this dude should be in a band. He does some really good vocals. And I probably watched his channel for over a year. And then the charismatic voice did a vocal analysis for Kardashev. I was like, holy shit, that's the dude from Cardavox Academy. But
He thought he could name his channel similar to his band name, and so people would catch on.
Maybe he named his band after his channel.
Either way, you're just like, I didn't make the connection.
Well, yeah. Well,
Do we
I
know?
never even heard
Do
of
we
it.
know why that's similar? What do you mean? Like,
It's got to be, he just did
like
it.
what came before, the chicken or the egg?
The chicken came
The
with
egg.
an egg in hand.
Are you familiar with Kardashev?
No, the first time I ever heard of him was when Casey sent us the single, because you sent it to us before the full length came out.
Okay,
Oh, that's right.
I think I sent you guys one a couple years, maybe a year back as well.
From the
I think
previous stuff.
this
Like
sounds
Snow
from-
Sleep, I think it was, or something
But
like
you
that.
picked this one before it even came out.
I did. Yeah, so I picked this album about a week
So
before
did
it
you
came
listen to the album before this? I think they had
out.
one.
I did. So the album before this, Barring of Shadows, I think it was released in 2021.
Did you get into that one?
I did. So after
Okay.
after discovering that this band was the same as the guy that does the thing, I kind of went on a deep dive, which is kind of my thing that I tend to do. I travel down rabbit holes and started researching some of their singles and stuff, and then found that
I was
album.
excited you picked it.
Yeah, and I was really amazed by that first album, and I thought it was really, really good. So I just figured, you know what, let's try the new one. I wanted to be at the forefront on this one. I didn't want to, suggest one that'd been out for a little while. I think it's a great album, the previous one, but I just wanted to try this one out.
At time of recording, this came out just weeks ago.
So yeah, Glass Phantoms, I believe, is the single that you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, in the text, like, I saw the album artwork, and I was like, fucking tight.
I think you commented, like, even if it's not good, the album artwork's cool.
The album art is dope on this.
I think, I really appreciate it and think it's really cool. And then,
So the first track kind of blows me away. It's like ambient, atmospheric, and then there's spoken word. He's like,
it doesn't come in guns blazing.
No, it doesn't.
it's real chill. It's real chill. He speaks through it.
Yeah.
Literally spoken word, like
Yeah.
poetry kind of shit. And then I get chills and then blast beats, like almost black metal, post black metal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Comes in on the second track, flows in perfectly. And like it really, like, for me personally, like from there, it's just all downhill. Like that's the highlight, is that first moment of the album. I was really pumped.
Mhm.
And then I wasn't
So
very much after that.
This is based off of a short story penned by their drummer, who also does all the spoken narration on the album.
So what is? Yeah, can you let us know what
Really?
is?
Yeah, so it's based around a person who
There's
is-
a concept. Yeah.
yeah, it's a
obviously.
concept album pretty much. It's based around a person who's losing their memories, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever you want to call it. And the person returns to their childhood home and has kind of a moment of clarity while there. and remembers a tragedy that happened
No shit.
when they were younger that caused their family to kind of disintegrate, to fall apart.
Oh, that makes more sense. I thought this was some sappy, like I broke up with my girlfriend and I miss her shit.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that vibe at all.
So so it's based off that, and then
But that's some heavy ass shit right there.
It ends with him realizing that he's losing his mind, and he decides to kill himself in the house that he grew up in, to end his loss, to set his memories free. But I'm kind of with you. Like the first time I listened to it, I didn't read into it. I didn't read any of the lyrics or read the background. And I was like, this is kind of cheesy. But then after reading the story and the meaning behind it and listening to it, there's a lot of raw emotion in this thing. And even though it's not like a personal, I don't think it's a personal story, it comes off with the emotion of a personal story, which is kind of cool.
I see what you're saying, but I don't dig the...
I feel like your intro had to cover every little aspect of it, because like I agree. Like
It's super complex. Like, yeah, I agree with you.
There's definitely emotion to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets like it feels sensitive to me.
It's a disconnected
like vulnerable.
Emotion. Yeah.
That is exactly
like
what
he's
I'm
kind
trying
of
to,
wearing
like,
his heart
say.
out on his sleeve.
Yeah.
My beef with this is that I'm not digging that emotion. Like there's
Well,
no...
It doesn't
agree
feel
with you.
personal.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
It's
know whether
coming
it's
from a third person.
It's emotional in the sense of a disconnected, like third person's telling a story kind of thing. The concept of the narration, even though it slows the pace of this down, I think, kind of telling the...
Do you guys like that spoken word shit?
No, I can't say. Well, I like it, but
I don't dislike it, but it's also
like
kind of
it.
corny.
I don't like it in an album because it slows the pace of the album, and I really want the album to progress.
Yeah.
But I feel like
You don't think it works on the intro track?
on an intro
I
track,
think it by like the third time they do it, I'm like, why are we still doing poetry?
exactly. I feel
Do you
like
like- do you-
I
are
feel
you
like for
into
an intro, great, but don't put
Nathan?
it in the middle.
Okay, so this album was very conflicting for me.
Me too, dude.
So the first time I listened to it,
Oh my god.
well, the single you sent me,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna love this shit, And when it came out, you sent it to us, and then I listened to the whole album. The first time I listened to it all the way through, and it's a long album. It's
It is.
It's an hour.
it's an hour long.
Yeah.
I listened to it all the way through, and I loved it. Second time I listened to it, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The third time I listened to it, I was like, this sounds disingenuous. What is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
No beef on him. He's a great vocalist and stuff, but I feel like he's trying to hit every key point, and he's trying to hit every emotion. And I think sometimes when you're trying to do that within a song, you're affecting just even having a good song. You're just trying to make all these points. And that feels a little forced to me. But so that messed with me, right? And I was beefed with it. And then today I was listening to it, and I'm even more conflicted about this album.
Because you started to enjoy it.
I think I've always enjoyed this album because there's nothing bad about this album. It's recorded really well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my beefs, that it's recorded really
I was gonna say usually you don't like it.
well. That's one of my beefs, is that it and it's way too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too long.
it's
and
funny
get what
I
you're
can hear the
saying,
confliction.
and like, but there's great parts.
Yeah. I feel like I'm with you.
Even like the
This is-
11-minute songs are good.
Mhm.
I'm so conflicted.
But you are, because you usually like 11-minute black metal songs.
But
This is not black metal.
But I'm 100% with
No, it's
Nathan,
not
because I
black
feel
metal.
like this is really long, and being as long as it is, it doesn't do service to it. But at the same time, I don't know, other than the spoken word parts, I don't know what they could cut out of this that would shorten it up and still get the point across.
I kind of agree. I don't
I
like
disagree.
that it's
This
too...
could be a 3-song EP, and it would be...
It's
cut the
long,
fat
but
on
I
this
feel
shit.
like it's a good... Even though I don't like this, I
Mhm.
think it's... I'm just saying it now. I don't think this is very good, but I think
What do you not like about it?
this is wimpy, bro. This is like... There's like... Ugh. Like there's no... This is the opposite of metal to me. Like when I think like what makes metal good to me, it's like the machismo, the macho, the hatred, the anger, the angst. This guy's like
This is beautiful metal.
It's beautiful. Like there's even I watched a like he does a vocal playthrough on YouTube where he goes out into like the wilderness.
That's off their first album,
which is a better song than anything off. That song's killer. I really like this video I'm talking about, but it makes my point. He goes out there and in the description, and I'm not beefing on this dude. I think he's an amazing vocalist, super talented. I like watching his content on YouTube. He knows what he's talking about. His clean vocals are beautiful.
There's also effects on those clean vocals.
Oh, for sure.
There's effects on
There's
all
way
these
too much
vocals.
chorus.
I'm gonna give him all the props that his whatever is coming out on their albums, his vocal performance is top notch.
Yeah, he's great, but there's parts like his deep.
But this YouTube video, it's like the first thing it says in the description is like, "Hey, sorry, I was winded. I was like hiking up here." So he's already like making excuses. And then you can tell in the video, he's like, I watched it with my girlfriend and she's like, oh, this guy's like really getting into this. He's like working himself up to get into this mood to do it. Cause he's very into like this emotion that he's trying to drive, but it's not the emotion I dig like in music like this. Then he does like fucking pig squeals while trying to conjure this like
emotion,
this sad emotion. I'm just not into it, bro. I'm not into it. When I think like pig squeal kind of shit,
too sad for you.
It's dirty, and he's just like, I don't need any time at all. I'm gonna pick up this disgusting filth off the ground and smear it on my face, and then give you disgusting. I don't need to like work myself into it. Like I don't need to apologize for being winded. It's pig squeals and it's fucking death metal because I'm winded, because I'm like at my bottom of myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's almost disingenuine to you because he's so clean with the way he does it?
It's not disingenuine. I think he's fucking legit, like an emotional
No,
dude.
I'm saying the emotion is disingenuine.
No,
the vibe is just not your
He's
vibe.
just it's a different emotion that I'm into with death metal kind of vocals and black metal.
Yeah.
He's very vulnerable and I give him mad props because he's very good at like making it clear that he's like, hey, I'm putting this out here. I'm wearing my heart on my skin or my heart on my sleeve. But I'm like, that's not the vibe I like in this kind of genre of vocals that he kind of delivers sometimes. His cleans are perfect. If he just had an album of clean stuff, it would be a different context and I'd be into it.
Well, I think even his growls and his pig squeals are good, but
they're fantastic.
But that emotion just doesn't work with them.
It's a weird, it's like
it's too happy to be there.
It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with like fish on it. Yeah, dude. I'm like, I like these things separate, but together
You're wanting something evil, and what you're hearing is a choir.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not evil.
Yeah.
So there's some really good drum work on this.
The drumming is fantastic.
But at the same time, the drumming's cookie cutter.
No, I think it fits.
The double kick on this, and this is like my big complaint about this album. This is their first album on a major label. So they signed with Metal Blade.
This is like their second or third,
This is like their second or third album, but their first one on a major label. And so they had the budget to do it. And to me, it comes off not as good as their previous one. The drums and vocals on this are good during the mellow parts, but when they get to the double kick and the grindy and the squilly vocals and stuff and the growls, they overpower everything. You don't hear any more guitar. All you hear is kick drum.
I have to say something.
Okay, yeah, go.
When those drums are going.
Oh, they're great.
When those drums are going, and then all of a sudden, the guitars are just going.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Dun dun.
They know what they're doing, kind of. Yeah.
Like. It's kind of a buildup. It's okay that the guitars are freeing up for a minute. You know what I mean?
No, it's not that they free up. It's that they drown out.
You think they're bad in the mix?
Yeah, I think the mix is just off. I think the guitars sound great. I think.
Well, I'm just stating that's all right. Sorry.
Well, no, and I get what you're saying because I could listen if I listen to this on my phone. It's completely different because it doesn't have that low end, so the kick and the bass doesn't drown out.
You can't listen to this on your phone.
No, you can't, but that's the only time that you're able to hear the guitars in the mix during the heavier parts. When I listen to it on like my headphones or on my speakers, like in the office or in the living room, the kick and the bass and the vocals drown out all the great. And there's some really cool guitar work in there. I think what it really
is there is great guitar work, but
I don't remember any riff from this.
I didn't look into this at all. but necessarily were like into the band, but or see them play live because I figured it was probably that way. But is there like a synthesizer, a guy, a keyboardist and stuff? Probably.
I don't think there is, but I don't doubt that they
Dude,
don't.
there
that
is
they use
some
one.
kind of filter
There
or
is
effect
something.
that's going on that makes it sound that way, and I think a lot of music at times goes heavily
I feel like
on
there's
that.
some Fallujah influence, and there's like
Mhm.
I think they're open about it. That they are.
I think I saw a
inspired by
picture of a
Fallujah.
guitar player, Nico, I think his name is. He was wearing a he's wearing a Fallujah shirt.
Mhm.
But this
So-
doesn't have the brutality that Fallujah has.
No.
Okay, so my score is jumping around again. So this is as we're speaking. So like what you dislike about it, I'm almost connecting with.
hmm
It's
The
conflicting.
story that I had no idea the background. And now that you tell me the background, that actually affects
Yeah.
me like in a personal way, and like
And maybe that's it
kind of
because
catching me.
Yeah.
You know,
You need a break or something?
no, and I think that's even better. But what I have a conflict with is that it's not things or subject matter maybe that he's been through,
Mhm.
and I can't say this. Maybe he has been through these things, but it didn't. It doesn't feel that.
and that's
way.
what I said at the beginning. This is a story, a
It's a
concept album.
choreographed.
But I don't know if it's a personal experience because that emotion, the emotional attachment just doesn't seem to be there.
Mhm.
I feel like Matt said, there's a lot of emotion being put into it, but I don't feel like it's a personal emotion. I think it's an emotional attachment for the sake of being an emotional attachment to a song.
I think this is just way too long. It should be 3 songs. It should be Apparitions in Candlelight, Glass Phantoms, Beyond the Passage of Embers.
So it should be
And-
like 20 minutes of like poetry.
Well, I think they should add the poetry parts into it, and like I keep those parts. I think they should have more. I like that.
What about
Sorry.
Silvered Shadows? That song was great.
Silver Shadows. I don't know.
No, I can't even remember any of the songs off this.
Anytime I like,
I didn't like any song on this. Like none of these were like bangers I would take back to a playlist.
Okay. So my issue, and I'm kind of on the same thing. I feel like their previous album was a lot better than this.
Was it more instrumental? Because I think I went back and I like listened to something and I was like,
There's a lot of ambience.
I'd rather listen to this than the
There's like
last.
spacey parts.
So I can't remember. I just know the
This is a weird fucking album, Casey, and I don't like that you picked it because
I'm really
it's cooking my
conflicted.
brain.
So my issue with it is the drums when they get into that pocket and they go in the double kick. It's super fast, but it's almost too fast, and it goes on for too long. Like,
no, I
they
love that
carry
when
those
the
parts
blast
out.
just like fucking lay down. Yeah, I love that.
No, it would be great if I could hear the guitar in there,
Yeah,
but
the
I
guitar.
can't. That's what bugs me.
I like drums.
It's like, well, yeah, I like drums too, but it's like all
It's
I'm
the same
listening
thing
to
with
is drums and vocals.
Decapitation, though. The fucking vocals and the drums are way high up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. But yeah,
It's not riffy at all.
when he says that "give me back my mind" part, all I could picture is somebody on stage doing Phantom of the Opera yelling up at the balcony for
I
Ophelia.
think that's what they're going for.
And I kind of like that.
No,
It's
I
not-
do
that's
too.
like
It's
not the bad
artsy and
part
it's
of this
funny. But yeah, so I feel like the previous album, the recording quality for me is like what kind of drags us down. The length a little bit, the spoken part for sure. It's cool, but I don't think it goes in the middle. I think the intro lead in with it, lead out with it, but don't give me some.
I think they
spoken
should have
2-minute
used
thing in
it
the
as
middle.
like a middle track.
But yeah, maybe just one spoken part in the
They
middle.
I
should've-
like the
they
intro.
should've
The
played
intro's
two-
brilliant.
They should have played 2 fucking songs,
Oh yeah,
put the spoken word in there, and played the last song and call it quits.
nah, dude. There's some good songs on here.
There's
but I'm
probably
with you.
like-
I agree. Like
That-
I can't hate it as much.
It feels
as
like there's 20
and
minutes
I
of just
don't
spoken word.
don't
It-
understand.
Is this a fucking? Is
I don't
he reading?
understand how you hate this though. I
Oh,
honestly, I this is just one of those ones I like because me, everything about this, I should fucking bury it in my backyard. I don't want to fucking like it, kick it out,
But
right?
you like it.
But I'm so conflicted with it.
So then, what would you rate it?
Oh man, fuck, 3.6.
Oh shit.
okay.
Yeah, that's pretty. And it'll be those
Interesting.
3 songs.
Mhm.
I'll probably
You gave
listen
this a
to it.
3.6 for 3 songs.
I think those 3 songs are like
Killer.
honestly pretty sick. Like there's parts of it.
Which I, don't- yeah.
I feel like you probably listened to it, and like you said, like after the first song.
I was stoked
So-
when I
so
first,
the first song
That fade in is so
and then it
cool.
faded.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe because it is long, did you really give it a good listen, or
I
did you
listened
judge
to
it
this-
right away
I
and
was-
then have that judgment
Listen,
for an hour?
I was conflicted like you were, right?
Yeah.
Because I had like an emotional roller coaster with this. I want to love this. I think it's talented.
I want to hate this.
This is one of those ones. This
Right,
is-
because you're like, it's not
Because I don't
rock.
want to be all emo about it, but like it's emo. It's
It, like,
emotional.
It is.
Like the parts that they do well are really good.
This brought.
But it's a
this
one
brought
pony
emo,
fucking trick. It's a one pony fucking trick.
This brought emo to black metal.
Oh, that shit's been.
Yes, dude.
People have desecrated on black metal years
Oh,
before
yeah.
this.
This is going to be one of those ones that this is going to be killer to revisit. 5 years down the road, and you're rating super high, and you're like, no, I hate it.
Look, this is like maybe.
I
maybe.
might even go back and say I'm overdoing this, but a
Yeah.
3.6.
My rating might change on this
Okay.
in the future because I am conflicted about it, but I did spend a lot of time listening. I listened to it a lot.
Okay.
And I kind of think this is like where the future of metal might be going.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Death Heaven and bands like this. This is starting to be like the post black metal, the more, what do they call it? Gaze? Like death gay.
Death gaze or something. Or
Right. And it hurts my heart. Like, am I
Yeah, this
becoming
is my
old?
beef.
Am I old? And is this like,
shoe metal. I don't know.
I hate that people try to put all genres and everything into things. You know what I mean?
but there's
We're
a certain taxonomy to it, right? And I'm just wondering, is this like the cusp of me being too old to listen to music? I don't know, but I give it a 2.3 out of 5. I think this kind of sucks. It's wimpy. I think his fucking vocals are amazing. I think everyone plays good on this. It's a weird vibe that
It just doesn't fit together. For you.
there's a lot of emotion on it, and it's like Celine Dion emotion that I think is lame.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is 2.3 for me, guys. Not good.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I really have a lot of respect for the vocalists. And
but what you're saying is there's still a chance.
So
there's
you're
a chance. Like my rating will probably change on this.
Okay.
It'll probably grow on me if I continue listening. I'll listen to their next stuff. I'm interested in the band. I think they're a cool band.
Yeah.
I think this album sucks, kind of.
Mhm.
Man,
So I give this 3.7. I'm right there with Nate. It's a great album, but I feel like there's a few things in this that bring it up short. I think the previous album would probably be rated higher for me over this one. I'm excited to hear their next one, and maybe they get those little kinks with like the recording and the emotional stuff ironed out. I think doing a concept album for your first like record label debut is kind of,
It's like pretentious.
it is.
yeah, it is.
This
it
sounds
is.
pretentious.
I'm so conflicted because right now I want to punch myself in the face because I said a 3.6, but at the same time I'm like, I have to. Dude, there are parts on this that are
Yeah.
actually.
There's
I
some
mean, they
great
kind of
stuff.
pull on your. And if something can
I think
do
Seven
that to
Spires is way better than this.
No. No.
But it's that same, like, I feel like they're I feel like they're
Yeah.
peers in a lot of ways.
They probably are. Yeah, and it's that cusp of that emotional metal that's now
It's
the new
this like
craze.
younger breed of metal bands coming out
Yeah.
that are doing like this semi avant-garde
Yeah.
kind of like experimental post
And
black
it's
metal.
cool.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly,
I want to put them on the same. I want to put them on the same level of. But I get what you're saying that like I feel like everything is getting thrown into it like
Uh-huh.
now. It's like you got to have the breakdown, you have to have the blast part,
yeah.
you have to have this, you have to have the clean
It's all this
vocals.
black metal influence.
You have to-
Yes.
Oh,
That doesn't
so blame black metal, like
But
we
it
all
doesn't
do
belo-
for everything.
That's
I'm
my
just
point.
kidding.
And you know better. This like
Black metal's becoming cool now.
it doesn't belong in
It's
some of
been-
these genres, but it's starting to permeate because it's cool, right? It's the new. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like artistically cool to be black metal.
But I think people are hearing a sound and associating it with black metal, but black metal is more than a sound. So
I don't disagree.
Well, you know who would know more about this album? The viewers. Tell us what you think. This is Blenderstyle, and that was Kardashev. Liminal Rite.
Where's the cheese platter?